Today I wanted to talk about offers, and this is by far not my area of expertise in the sense of I can tell you how to make offers out the wazoo, but I am speaking from experience of I had a major shift in terms of offers, and I wanted to speak to it from this place before I get better at it. And I can't really understand like what the blocks are when putting out offers. Okay. So I've gone through this recently and I had a big block to putting out offers and I didn't know why. So I thought that would be fine. I was like, for a long time, I had thought I had a block with selling and I probably did. But I was putting out my own roadblocks with selling in the terms of, in the sense of selling in my mind had to be this professional, really dry, really corporate type procedure. And it had to be like a procedure, right? It had to be something that was, I don't know, like SOP to death. And yes, it should be SOP'd eventually, but it needs this natural element of who you are and what you believe in. That's what I've come to the conclusion of. I actually really like selling now. And that's still fucking crazy to me to say that. I used to not be able to talk one on one to people. I used to like turn red, like if I said the wrong thing. I'm saying like a lot now because I'm getting really into it. There's a couple of reasons why I do that. But anyway, so I used to really be nervous speaking even one on one to people, let alone if I had to speak to a group of people, I was going to turn red and I was going to forget everything that I wanted to say. And actually, that still happens sometimes where my mind goes blank, but I can recover from it now. So I came from that place and now I really like selling. So I really like talking to people. Let me reframe what selling is now. So talking to people, um, we can do it in a one-on-one way. That's if you're listening to this, you're probably aiming to do that in your business as well. So discovery call, etc. Because that's where like the magic is, and that's where you can really understand what their problem is and really like I personally intuitively need to know if we're going to be a good fit. And like your potential client wants to know if you're a good fit as well. So anyway, so what you should really just bring to that is your vision of how you can solve their problem, walk them through it, or go, like I didn't even realize I did this, but I am now diagnosing how I do things. And I like to go through like each aspect of someone's website and ask them like what the issue is here, or if we're doing a transformation typically. So like what the issue is here, what's not working here, etc., etc. And then I just um understand now like a better way to do it. So that's where I take them. I show them the solution. So that's all you're doing. You don't need to have like all these psychological questions and sit there really starkly and make sure you don't say the wrong thing. There isn't really the wrong thing if you've already built up rapport with this person, or if you're, well, even while you're on the call you build up rapport with them. And that comes from also if you do want to work with that person. Anyway, so that's just a little bit about selling. But so I thought my block was selling. Perhaps your block might be that at the moment too, or you might have already grown past that. And it's like this old belief that you're holding on to, and maybe it's offers. So my experience with offers has been horrible. Okay. What I mean by that is, so I see like a lot of people in business putting out offers and them getting responses, them being seen, them it generating things for them. And I think we're all there looking at that when you just start your business and being like, okay, well, um how I ended up at a place of a lot of like how, because my experience was so deeply rooted probably into being rejected in the past as well in my younger years, but to just not being seen. So I would put out offers. So I would listen to these people that knew what they were talking about, that knew that offers worked because they were on the other side where offers were working for them and they could see it. So then they had this belief that the next one they go after is going to also work. But I kept being in a place of, I put out an offer and then crickets, like that happens to everyone. But I just wasn't being seen for a lot of different reasons. And this actually might be the root cause of where your offers are landing in crickets. It is not that you have a bad offer. You can have a freaking great offer. You can be throwing everything at the wall. First of all, if you don't believe in your offer and you don't believe that you can deliver on it, that was a place that I was as well at one point. If you don't believe in it, or you believe that if you make this offer, it's going to be a lot of hard work after and it's scary and you don't want to overwork yourself, or you don't know if you can handle it, that's a scary place to put out an offer from. And you are doing this thing that I got called out for too. You have your foot on the accelerator and your foot on the brake at the exact same time. So you've made the offer, but your foot is on the brake while you're going forward. It's just not great. That actually happened in my old car. I had a 99 Chevy Malibu and it got stuck in drive. How to explain this? The engine got stuck driving, and accelerating. So you'd put the brake on and the engine would still be revving. So I actually physically experienced this. And you just have to put it into freaking neutral to get out of that situation. It was a problem with the engine. Anyway, so to put it into neutral, and you have to come back and see within what is happening for you. So recently I put out an offer and everyone wants it. So this is why I wanted to speak to this now. So my experience was throwing, it felt like yelling into the void until I put the offer out now, and it's not different. It's not the right copywriting. It's not, it is probably better crafted, but it's that I believed I could deliver on it, but there's so many other things too. Okay. So, and it's brought me, actually, I don't want to say so if you're listening to this at this point, any number with a K that you can attach to it is jolting. I remember. And so there are other episodes we're going to cover money mindset in. So listen to those if that feels jarring. So, but I put out this offer and I have landed it, and people are so on board with it and people are so excited for this offer. And I have so many new people to work with and they're so aligned. So how did I get here? I can see it now. So you can put out the best worded offer, work on the copy all the time, readjust words and keywords and blah, blah, blah. And make sure that you have all the punchy things in there and that you're putting the vision in every sentence for, the result. That's great. You could put out an offer though that doesn't have all of that and it could also land. So my current one did have some good words to it. Wasn't perfect. It's not this infinite thing that you have to chase for. It's not constantly edit it and then one day it'll hit jackpot. My new realization is it's who are you yelling at? What void are you yelling into? You might be putting out the offer to the wrong spaces. You might be putting out the offer to the void of, people that don't want to listen, or people that aren't ready to listen as well. So it's not that your offer is bad. It's that, first of all, you haven't been seen by the people you're putting the offer to. And a few of us, I think, based on human design, based on a lot of things, we naturally aren't seen and we naturally aren't recognized, which is for projectors. And then it does feel like you're not, when you say something, which is putting out an offer, saying something, people just don't answer. When you put a message into a group chat and your message is ignored, but everyone else's message is responded to, that feeling. So when you put in an offer, you want to put it in spaces that people already recognize you if this happens to you. So one of the big differences to the offer now was I put it out into a space that I didn't even realize that I had built up. rapport, or that it was a place that didn't involve proving myself, because I had already proved myself in my behavior in other ways, and just in support and in just anything like that. So I highly recommend, a good tip if you're putting out offers, there's nothing happening, is don't focus on putting out the offers, or, don't let it tear you down. Keep putting them out, because it is putting in the reps. I definitely agree with that. Why I quit early putting out offers, and I shouldn't have quit as well, was that it felt like I was yelling into the void, and I wasn't being recognized, and it was hurting my ego. And I didn't recognize that it was hurting my ego. But also, it just felt like, hitting my head against the wall. And now I'm realizing it was who I was giving the offers to. So even sometimes I put out offers into, so people put them into Facebook groups, and they get great clients from there. But typically I get completely unaligned clients from there. So then the project doesn't light me up. So then, they don't feel my light as well. So then it's just kind of like a shit show, and we're just piecing it together. Like, we're just holding it together for no reason. Like, we shouldn't have actually agreed to work together. We shouldn't actually agreed to work with each other. But because I put the offer out there, I might as well like follow through on it. If you're in a place like that too, just be careful. It is who you're speaking to. So what room are you speaking to? Put yourself in better rooms and just have better conversations. So the best clients that you'll ever have are the ones that you have a natural conversation with. And then that natural conversation leads to, well, I can solve your problem. Or, well, I can see how we could change your state, or like get you to a better place, if it's like a coaching thing. So definitely find yourself in different rooms and make those offers there. Then you will be heard. You'll be instantly heard a lot better. And it is just a lot more satisfying. If you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself as well, and that is triggering to you, I feel you. A lot of us don't put out our skills enough. So I was really always nervous about like putting out my web signs or putting out anything like that, putting out recognition, because some of them felt undeserved, or some of them felt like hollow. And I was like really looking for like deeper recognition. And I found that in other things. So now going back and, sharing my work more feels better. So it feels like, well, I've been recognized. I'm not putting it out there to like scrape together some recognition and, be like, okay, look at me, please. It's more of a empowered place. So if you feel some apprehension to putting out some of your proof, some of your work, let's just go with work. It's not proof. It's just some of your work, or some of your beliefs, or some of your voice, if you're a coach, then just recognize that it might just be like old wounds as well. um, but anyway, going back to offers. So when you put out an offer, make sure you know who you're speaking to, but definitely change who you're speaking to first. And of course, who you're speaking to should and would change how you put out the offer and what you say. So I definitely know that there are people that overanalyze their offers, and they go, what could I change? Is it too expensive? Did I say the wrong thing here? Is this one sentence not punchy enough? Like, you don't need to over like dissect it. Can you deliver on it? Do you believe in it? It's a huge thing. Everyone can feel on the other side of your offer if you actually believe in it. Do you have your foot on the accelerator and the gas at the same time? Do you want to put out the offer in your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind is like, we can't do it. There's, I don't believe in myself, or it's going to be too hard to actually deliver on that, or I've over delivered. And what am I going to do? My schedule's going to be so full. It's going to be so much work. Like, did you put yourself in a corner with that offer? Your people on the receiving end are going to feel that. But the biggest thing I can say is network, speak to people is what networking is. Make friends, make connections. If you go to a networking event and you're a wallflower and you're an introvert, like I am too, but I love talking to people at the same time. But if I go to those events, I don't like talking to everyone. I'm not the person that leaves that event with like 10 new friends. I might have talked to 10 new people, but I only connected with one, but I connect with them deeply and we have longer conversations there, or there's something that has pulled us together and we continue the conversation later on. Even if you only spoke a few words, there's always that one person that you're like, that person needs to be in my circle for some reason. Just act on that. Don't leave them there. Don't be like, oh, they probably don't want to talk to me. They probably do. They are at a networking event. They want one friend to leave with. And every one friend I've got from a networking event, I'm going to have for life because I've made deep connections with them. So yeah, the moral is put yourself in better spaces and believe in your offers. Don't put out an offer you don't believe in, and lift your foot off the brake pedal if you have their foot on the accelerator, because you have these big goals, right? If your foot is on the brake, there might be some bigger fears or bigger internal struggles that you have, but don't let that stop you. Just make smaller offers if that helps. So to practice, but all the greats are right. Make more offers, say, do it more, put more reps in. Like Arnie always says it, of course, right? Put more reps in. You can only get better. And if you can, borrow some belief from me now. So putting out offers, like I said, where I was standing from where I was standing, looked like they can do it. Of course they can do it. I can't do it. No one can hear me when I put out an offer. Of course they're being heard. They're louder. Of course they're being heard. They're extrovert. Of course they're being heard. You know, they grew up in this country. They know more people or something, you know, those are excuses. We know they're excuses, but also like you can't also blame yourself. You're not doing anything wrong either. You're just not putting in, I'm not going to say you're not just putting in the reps. What you're not doing is actually not seeing from their perspective. So they have crossed the barrier, and from their perspective, people hear them, people hear their offers. Some of them I think would have experienced speaking into the void, and some of them would have experienced it. Okay, sorry, everyone would have experienced it, right? But some of them don't take it personally, but a lot of us do take it personally. So you can speak to some of those people that, you know, put out offers, make all this money, do all the sales, and it seems effortless to them. You can speak to them and ask them, do you remember what it was like when you were speaking into the void, when no one was hearing your offers, when it was crickets? And just hear their stories. It's beautiful. But yeah, as I've just crossed the threshold, like my business was going, it was flowing. It was more flowy, but it wasn't like I could make a big offer and it was heard. I've crossed that threshold and it feels really fucking good. And now I understand what I was doing wrong. And I hope you can kind of see it now too. It's not really the offer and the little details. It's putting in the reps and who you're speaking to, and, you know, also building recognition for yourself, but just by being yourself. You don't have to walk around and wave a paper and a diploma or whatever. You can just be yourself. And once people know who you are and they like who you are, they will hear you better. Your voice will come across clearly. So it doesn't matter what you end up saying. But at that stage, you can say your offer and it will be heard. Yeah. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I was really passionate about that. And if you have any questions, you can DM me anytime on Instagram at amanda.petra__. Okay. I love continuing the conversation. If you be my one friend from my networking event from this episode, please do drop into my DMs anytime. And yeah, we can talk offers, we can talk sales, we can talk whatever you want. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope you enjoyed that. We are exploring our comfort zones and our edges with every episode, every guest, and every episode I do by myself. If you have enjoyed this, please follow us on Spotify, leave a 5-star review or a review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean the world to us. We get to grow and have more informative guests on, more provocative guests, if that's what you want. I am so down to see where this grows. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram at amanda.petra__, and I would love to chat with you in the DMs. What hit home, what didn't, what came to mind. It would be really cool. So I will see you there, and thank you so much. See you in the next episode.